Hi, and welcome to the Fuck It All podcast, where modern women redefine what it means to have it all. My name is Casey Gordon, and I'm your host. Today, I'm digging into a topic that's been weighing on me the past few days, and it's the concept of arbitrary timelines. I really believe that this moment in time of exploring this side of myself, of doing this podcast, has been a lesson in patience and a lesson in trusting that things will happen in the time they are meant to. But as someone who loves control, I'm not great at relinquishing that and sitting in the knowledge and the knowing that I'm not in control. All I can do is do these acute day-to-day micro behaviors that will lead me on the path that I want to go. But the ultimate destination is something that I really don't have control over, especially when I'm trying to create something that hasn't been created before. Yesterday, I had a couple morning meetings and then sat down, had 4 hours before I went to pick up my daughter. Mind you, I'm my own boss. There is no timeline. I get to do what I want, when I want, how I want, the benefit of being in this moment in time. And instead, I found myself just powering away at this website. I'm working on my website, how to position myself, and I'm plugging along, and I just feel this anxiety rising inside me. Things aren't coming out. I'm forcing it. I'm trying to write my story. The design's not working out. My husband comes in to ask me something. I bite his head off. Hey, I'm in the middle of something. And I just feel this tension. It's overwhelming to me. And I really stopped to think, why are you rushing towards this? And it was January. That is why. Everybody every year says, new year, new me. They announce all the big things they're going to do. And knowing that we are coming in on the tail end of 2020, people are wrapping up for this year, reflecting on next year. I don't have that normal busyness that I'm used to. And so I set forth this arbitrary timeline that I needed to be able to announce something in January. Now, I got up with a girlfriend today and we were talking and she said, don't you think January is such bullshit because you're coming off of what usually are emotionally charged holidays. You're coming off of eating and drinking, not taking care of yourself in any sort of routine way. And yet you want to come into the new year and be the best version of yourself. And I stopped and thought, yeah, that's absolute bullshit. So I put that timeline aside, and one of the questions I ask a lot of my guests are, what do you do when your power is shaken? And yesterday was one of those days. This week, I posted the beginning part of this week, this fun selfie that said, it's hell yes or it's no. And so I've been taking this mindset that I only want to say yes to things that are a hell yes for me. Yet I was doing things self-inflicted that were not a hell yes. And so I wasn't living my values. I wasn't living the things that I set out to do. I started to ask myself, I turn inward. So that's what I do when my power is shaken. And I do a couple of things. I try to understand, what am I pushing against? And these are some of the thoughts that came to mind. Am I forgettable? If I've been out of the work world for 2 months, my network, am I forgettable because I've been quiet? The value that I had, the status, the title, it wasn't me that people really loved or cared about or wanted to work with. It was what I represented. For some people, that may be totally true. I may have represented value to them by the things that I was, not by who I am. But for those people that I really want in my corner, they're showing up. So practicing a bit of that self-compassion. The next is, what if I don't have a big reveal? What if I'm just happy, but not quote unquote accomplished? And I start hearing these inner critics, people that make me feel less than, and not because of anything they do, just my own insecurities. And I start hearing them and I think, what would they think? What would they want me to do? Or how would they think I'm important enough? And that says so much more about me than them. And so I've got to check that. I'll talk about a couple of the things that I did. And so understanding that, I wrote down, why are you feeling this? I did the 5 whys, why? And so much of it came down as, I'm in an FFT. If you listen along to me, I love Brene Brown, and she calls them fucking first times. And I'm in a lot. This is the first time I've ever quit a job without another option. This is the first time I've ever gone into entrepreneurship. This is the first time I've ever told my stories openly. This is the first time I've ever been a mom. This is the first time I've ever been a pseudo single mom because my husband's in finals month of his MBA program. This is the first time I've ever been a spouse supporting someone through full-time job and full-time school. This is the first time that I've ever gone through the holidays with a 1-year-old. All of these are first times, and I think that I haven't been as kind to myself. I've been just doing what I've always done. The same girlfriend I was catching up with today, she said, "When is another time you felt like this? And what did you do?" And the truth is I've never been in a situation like I am now and emulated a behavior I'd want to replicate. My answer is I usually grab on, white knuckle, and just keep pushing through. The work product isn't good. I am miserable. Those around me suffer. And I usually get so run down that I have to fully take a break. So what I started to do last night is recognize I'm forcing this. I'm forcing a website. Why? That's so silly. Nobody's telling me I have to do that. January is something I put forth. If I want to take 2 weeks off with my husband over the holidays to be with our daughter when he doesn't have work and school, okay, I should be able to do that. And so I turned my computer off. I read a book. I mentioned on here, I'm reading Gabby Bernstein's Super Attractor, and it's a very good book for me right now to think about what is the energy that I'm putting out, what is the energy I'm attracting, recognizing when I'm fighting against something, when something doesn't feel organic or natural, that there's a reason, and pay attention to that. And becoming a lot more in touch, honestly, with my mind and body of how I physically manifest some of this stress. I took a bath, so commute bath, going back to my episode with Amanda Getz, shout out. I like to give credit where it's due. I did my nails. I slept in. I let my family sleep in, and I think we all woke up a bit better, realizing that there are foundations for what we need to be healthy and well. And so the other thing that I'll talk about is, for any of you that might be out there having your own FFTs or just having your power shaken, there are 3 things I've done. The first thing is a dear friend shared with me writing down a list of everything you love. She said that whenever she's feeling a bit down or maybe needs strength, going into a big meeting, a big interview, conversation, etc., she reviews this list. And so this list could be anything from people that you love, places or things that you like to do, all the way down to something simple as I really love when my nails are painted red. And I wrote down this massive list, and it reminded me, even though I was in my funk, that, hey, this is a moment in time. Today is a day that is total shit, and that's fine. Sit in that, feel it, ask yourself why, go to bed and move on. We don't have to be defined by this crappy moment in time. We can instead say, there are a whole list of things that we love and keep our lives full. And so I recommend this year, instead of resolutions, screw all the ways that we can be better, sit down and just write all of the things that you love. By capturing that and ruminating on that and reminding yourself of that, you're naturally going to be in a better headspace to show up and become that better version. I did that this morning, and I can say that today, if I look at 24 hours before versus today, it's a much better version of me. My day, my energy, everything is better. And it's because I let myself feel that, but I also did very tangible things that put me in a better headspace. The other is what I call the girlfriend method. Now, there may be other versions of this, but it is the most fucking helpful thing I can do. Have you ever asked a woman, tell me what you love about your best friend? And then she goes on like she is, I don't know, political correspondent pushing her agenda. She tells you about her friend's heart and mind and the things she's experienced and her expertise, the things she's overcome, why she loves her, how beautiful she is, how talented she is. It's nothing like seeing a woman praise another woman. You ask that same woman what is great about herself, you'll see her start to downplay, to say, I've been lucky, or question certain things, undersell, turn bashful. And when my power is shaken, I begin to emulate all of those things. I don't think I'm as great as I really am. I feel really crappy. I can think about all the negative. But instead, I challenge myself to say, how would your best friend describe you right now? And so channeling the girlfriend method, channeling who is your bestie, who is the person in your life, it can be a partner, parent, friend, colleague, that really pumps you up. And how would they look at you? How do they love you? I think that's such an active way of self-love and self-compassion. I caught myself last night. I was putting my daughter to bed. And like I said, I had a day. And I was explaining to her over bedtime, I was apologizing. I said, Mommy was really off today. I didn't mean to lose my patience with you. I'm going to be a better mom tomorrow. I started going through all this. And then I stopped. I said, wait, you are not a bad mom. You had an off day. And she's 1.5, so who knows what she gathered from this. But I then said, hey, Mommy is doing something new for the first time. And it was really hard for me today. And I'm sorry that I didn't have the most patience with you, but I really appreciate that you were understanding and that you're being really helpful while we're going to bed. I'm trying to figure this out. And so when you go to bed, I'm going to go do some things for myself. And I hope that tomorrow we have a better day. Mind you, she's squirming, reaching for her book, probably ignoring me, but practicing actively that self-care, that self-kindness, compassion. It was a good reminder that I wouldn't want her to say, I'm a bad person, I'm a bad thing because I'm having a bad day. And so my sister sent me this text last night, and I'm going to leave you all with it. I posted it on Instagram, but I think this is such a good reminder that the universe and the people around you deliver exactly what you need when you need it. She said, the core of why you did this was to set your expectations and life in a direction that was healthy and good. Now listen to it. Healthy and good for you. You can have hard days, but don't lose sight of yourself and why you set out to do this. And so I leave any of you listening today with continue to stay close to yourself. Continue to ask yourself, why did I go on this journey? It's hard for a reason. What am I learning? For me, this moment, I know I am learning that I am not in control of my timeline. Things will happen in the way and time and place that they are meant to. All I can do is continue to do the small habits, practice, live my values, and take care of myself, let myself be in the best possible place so that when those things that I'm dreaming of come to light, that I'm ready for them. Thank you for listening to me today. I needed this message last night, and I hope that maybe this finds you if you need this message today. You all are awesome. I will share a girlfriend method here. I passed 1,000 downloads today, and that is such a freaking cool experience that a month ago I set out to do something that creatively fueled me and I hope would make people feel less alone. And to know that there's 1,000 people out there that have listened to the work I'm creating, and being able to see this shared and talked about. Going back to what my sister said, I can't lose sight of myself and why I set out to do this. So thank you for listening along. Thank you for being an engaged audience. And I look forward to hopefully thousands of more joining along the way. This is Casey Gordon. I'm the host of the Fuck It All podcast, where modern women redefine what it means to have it all. We'll see you next time.